Hey guys, so today I have the Essie Cashmere Matte collection. This is kind of Essie's version of a transitional collection, kind of like Zoya does. It's in between the winter and spring collections. Well, the resort collection is coming up too. I'll have swatches of that hopefully next week. This one is 6 polishes. They all dry to a matte finish. 4 of the 6 have a shimmer to them. These became available in January sometime, so you should be able to find these pretty easily in stores right now or online. I will get into the swatches. So the first polish in this collection is Wrap Me Up, and this is a light beigey nude. This is the only one. I have swatched all of these for pictures already. This is the only one that I had a real hard time with the formula. I have played around with it a little bit and I think I've got it figured out, but this is Wrap Me Up. So here is one coat of Wrap Me Up. So you can see this one is very streaky on the first coat. These dry really fast, so you do need to work fast with them to get the coats evened out. I tried and failed to get a decent swatch of this one about 3 times before I think I had it figured out. So there is one coat of Wrap Me Up. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of Wrap Me Up. So you can see that this is still streaky on the second coat. This polish also does not level itself out, so if you have it where it's a little bit thicker on one brush stroke versus the other, you will have ridges in it. It won't level itself out as it dries. This is the only one in the collection that I found that does that though. So there is 2 coats of Wrap Me Up. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a third coat. So here is 3 coats of Wrap Me Up. So I found the best way to apply this is a really thick third coat, and then you have to just barely touch the top of the polish with your brush to try to even out those ridges without creating more streaks. This polish is very difficult to work with. It does not level itself out, and like I said, this is the only way that I've found to try to minimize the ridges and the streaks, but it still won't get rid of all of them. You might end up having to have a 4th coat or to just keep adding coats until they go away. But a thick coat and then just barely touching the surface is how I was able to get a decent picture out of this. But it's still, I mean, it's ridgy and it's a little streaky still on my pointer finger and on my ring finger as well. And here is Wrap Me Up with top coat. The next polish is All Eyes on Nudes. This is the other polish in the collection that has no shimmer to it. This is a, I don't know, light to medium kind of tan color. So here is 1 coat of All Eyes on Nudes. This one is a bit streaky on the first coat, but the formula is so much easier to work with than Wrap Me Up. It's a little bit thinner, so it doesn't keep the ridges. It levels itself out as it dries, and it's just easier to spread out. So there is 1 coat of All Eyes on Nudes. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of All Eyes on Nudes. Like I said, this one has a really good formula compared to the last one. It's a lot thinner, it's easier to use, and it levels itself out. Don't think this is going to cover completely on 2 coats though, so it is going to need a third. There is 2 coats of All Eyes on Nudes. It's just got a tiny bit of streaking issues, so I'm going to let that dry and come back for a third coat. So here is 3 coats of All Eyes on Nudes. So this one covers completely on 3 coats. I am still trying to put a little bit of a thicker final coat on and then spread it out very lightly with the tip of the brush to try to avoid ridges. Because even though this does level itself out pretty well, if you have an intense ridge, it's still going to show. So here is All Eyes on Nudes with its matte finish. And here it is with top coat. The next polish is Just Stitched, and this is a baby pink with a blue-green shimmer. It's not showing up quite as pink as it is on camera. I think I'm accidentally washing it out a little bit. It is more pink than it's showing. So here is 1 coat of Just Stitched. So you can see that this one actually covers really well for being such a light color, especially from Essie. Usually light colors from Essie are really horribly streaky. It also has a really good, really easy to apply formula, which you don't always find in mattes. So there is one coat of Just Stitched. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of Just Stitched. So this one seems to cover completely on 2 coats. Like I said, I am really impressed with that just because it's a light pink and that's not something you usually find, especially from Essie. I think if you're not super careful though, this could easily end up being a 3-coater just because it does seem to be a little finicky. So I ended up adding a 3rd coat to this because as it dried I could see that it was definitely not opaque on 2. So here is 3 coats of Just Stitched with its matte finish. You can see the shimmer. The shimmer shows up actually really nice in this one. It kind of makes it look a little pearlescent. But it is very obvious. And here is Just Stitched with a top coat, which makes the shimmer really strong. It really stands out more. I mean, it's pretty clear, it's pretty apparent when it's matte, but it really stands out when it's top coated. So the next polish is Comfy in Cashmere, and this is a kind of chinchilla style gray taupe with a blue shimmer. So here is 1 coat of Comfy in Cashmere. So this one also covers pretty well in 1 coat, and it has that same really smooth formula that most of the other ones have had. So there is 1 coat of Comfy in Cashmere. It's almost dry, dried really fast, but I am going to let it dry the rest of the way and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of Comfy in Cashmere. So this one covers completely on 2 coats. Again, really smooth, really easy to apply. The shimmer shows up pretty well in this as well, even in the matte finish. So here is 2 coats of Comfy in Cashmere with the matte finish. Excuse this lump here on my ring finger. I bumped it and tried to fix it and it didn't work. And here is Comfy in Cashmere with a top coat. The top coat does help the shimmer stand out a little bit more. It's definitely there when it's matte, it's just really subtle, and it's much more obvious when it's glossy. The next polish is Couture, and this is a deeper kind of smoky purple or gray purple color with that blue-green shimmer. Here is 1 coat of Couture. So this one also covers really well on the first coat. It's not a 1-coater. The formula is really good also, same as the other good ones. You can see that this is drying really fast. My pointer finger is already dry. So there is 1 coat of Couture. I'm going to let that finish drying and then I'm going to come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of Couture. This one covers completely on 2 coats, levels out really easily, spreads out really easily. So far the polishes with the shimmers have had really fantastic formulas, self-leveling, easy to spread out. And the 2 that don't have the shimmer, not so much. So here is 2 coats of Couture with the matte finish. You can see the shimmer in this one even though it is matte. And here is Couture with top coat, and you can see that makes the shimmer stand out much more. And the last polish is Spun In Luxe, and this is a black with a blue shimmer. So here is 1 coat of Spun In Luxe. This one covers really well and has that same really easy formula that all of the shimmers had. I feel like if you really wanted to, you could put a thick coat of this one on and get away with 1 coat. So there is 1 coat of Spun In Luxe. I'm going to let that continue dry and I will come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of Spun In Luxe. So you can see that this one covers completely on 2 coats, levels itself out really easily. So here is 2 coats of Spun In Luxe, dried down to its matte finish. This one is the hardest to pick the shimmer out of. It's there, but you really have to look for it. And there is Spun In Luxe with Top Coat. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but that makes the shimmer stand out much, much better. And that is the Essie Cashmere Matte collection for 2015. Their kind of take on a transitional collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will talk to you later.